This is a large and interesting model steam engine collection that belongs to a friend of mine in Portsmouth. Quite a few of the engines used to be part of my collection, and some is bought on eBay. Most of them are very good indeed. One or two of them really need to go back on eBay, but never mind, that's just the way it is. Most of them are Stewart model steam engines. In the middle there you can see a Williamson engine, and various double 10Vs, number 10Vs, 10Hs, a great collection. All of them work, that's the main thing. He shares my passion for steam engines, but they have to work and work properly. I spend a lot of time getting it right when I build and renovate steam engines. I like them to run properly. This is a Brunel model's Grasshopper beam engine. This used to be mine and I sold it to him recently. This is a very large beam engine, and this is a very small beam engine. It's very well made, a real nice little engine. A Stewart 10H with an S50 behind it, a not so nice Stewart 10V coming up. This is a close-up of the Stewart Williamson engine. It runs very sweetly, no knocking or rattling, and it's a great looking thing. Underneath the table is the pièce de résistance of the collection, in my opinion, a Stewart 5A with a reversing gear and water pump, and a James Coombs engine. All of these engines are in a temporary place, and very shortly he's going to find somewhere to put them that isn't in the middle of the living space. On another table in the same room, there is a Stewart beam engine that I worked on recently, a Mary beam engine, which is from Reeves, and a really strange thing, in the middle of the table is a really strange engine that he bought recently from eBay. This one's called a bell crank engine, and it's not terribly well engineered, but it's interesting to watch when it's moving. It's a bit rattly, but it works okay. The idea is that it's supposed to pump water, and the valve events are controlled by an eccentric brass ring on the flywheel. It's a really strange thing. One problem he does have with it is that the cotter pins in the end of the cranks come loose. But this will be easily fixed with a bit of Loctite. It's not really a practical working engine because it's fairly flimsy. It makes a bit of a funny noise because there's some chatter marks on the brass ring on the flywheel, so every time the valve rod runs through the chatter marks, it makes a funny noise. As you can see, here's the bell crank, a very strange engine indeed. It always amazes me how many variants on steam engines came out of the original concept. The Vulcan beam engine, the Mary beam engine and the Stewart beam engine are connected to a compressed air line, so they can all be run from a small compressor. They all run very well. The Mary beam engine needs a little bit of adjustment here and there. What's yet to be done is to fit an individual pressure control to each of the engines to get them all to run slow. At the moment everything's on T-pieces and the pressure goes in down a common line. This is the Vulcan beam engine, a very nice looking thing. And to the right of the Vulcan beam engine you can see the new brick base that's been built for it. This is a nice old engine. It's an overhead crank engine, very similar to the Stewart reel, but a little more detailed perhaps. And again this is next to the minute beam engine, so you should see the scale against an S50 which is next to it. This is a 1.5 inch scale Showman's engine, which used to be part of my collection, but now it's part of this collection. There's a video on my channel of this engine running on compressed air on the dining room table. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this as interesting as I do.